Hi Joan, how are you doing today?
I'm okay. Just kind of hanging in there, I guess.
Hanging in there? I gotcha. Well, I really appreciate you being here. Um, Before we start, I want to kind of go back to what does hanging in there mean for you?
I guess I'm just kind of going through the day still not feeling like really good and still not hanging out with friends and stuff. Just kind of going through each day and working through, I guess I'm just getting everything done, but I'm still not
I see.
getting better.
Now, from the time we last met last week to now, has anything changed? Are you still feeling the same? Correct me if I'm wrong. You were feeling since your dad left and their parents got your parents got their divorce. You've been feeling kind of out of it. You've been feeling kind of depressed.
Yes,
You said,
yes.
and you just said you haven't been spending that much time with your friends. You're not really into your hobbies anymore.
Right.
Has that changed at all? Is that the same?
Yeah, pretty much the same. Pretty much just kind of staying by myself, sticking to my own self, I guess. Not really, my dad still doesn't come back. He doesn't really have time to spend with us anymore. Like, I guess, since he's not with my mom, he really doesn't come back a lot. I don't really want to do sports anymore, and that's kind of where I saw most of my friends and where we hung out. So I really don't even have opportunity to go see them or hang out with them. So I guess it's pretty much the same, just kind of sticking to myself.
So you're sticking to yourself and you still feel that like sadness, that sad feeling with everything?
Yeah, still kind of gloomy, kind of like a dark cloud has just been over me, and I don't really want to do anything.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. I feel like a lot of times that's normal. What you're going through with your parents getting divorced, that's a major transition.
Thank you.
So I want you to feel like you're human, you're not out of the ordinary.
Thanks.
Last week we ended by talking about some homework, and your homework was, just a simple task, nothing serious,
Right.
but maybe for you to think of coping mechanisms that you've tried in the past or that you think might work in the future. Did you think about that? Did you give any thought to that?
Yeah, I did, but I mean, I didn't really come up with too much. I guess I thought about it, but again, a lot of the coping skills that I used to use well, I wasn't really sad then. So, like, I would go running with friends, or I might go to the movies or the mall and hang out with friends and talk to, I would just talk to my friends about what my parents were going through, like if my parents were arguing or if my dad, was being like rude one day or snarky, then I would just go and like talk to my friends about it, and then they totally understood me, and so we would just be like whatever and go and hang out. But I mean, now that I'm like, I guess I don't even want to hang out with them. So it's like not even I can't even do that anymore. I can't really do any of the stuff that I used to do to deal with my problem because it wasn't really a problem then. I'm like, maybe I thought it was, but I just didn't feel the way that I feel now. So I guess if I wanted to think of something, then I would actually do it, and then I don't want to do it because I don't feel good, and I kind of would be myself. So not really.
Yeah, I understand that. So you feel like the problems you're going through now, you wouldn't use those past coping skills because they weren't problems back then. They weren't actually as they're going right now.
Exactly.
I see. Well, thank you for sharing. So maybe that homework wasn't perfect for you right then and there, which is so fine. I did want to ask you, now when you feel sad, what triggers that? Just kind of going back. Can you tell me, like, let's say an event, what's a daily event that happens where you suddenly start to maybe feel not as great?
Well, before like I would get home, like I would go to like practice, like soccer practice, and my dad would always pick me up and bring me home, and then we would have like time to like go get ice cream or something. Like he'd always like let me sneak ice cream without my mom there, and I know I was like way little then, so that's probably something stupid anyway, but now like I have to drive my help. Thank you. I have to drive myself home, which I guess I should be thankful that I have a car because like a lot of my friends don't even have a car. But my dad just feels like he can buy me something and then I'll feel better, and if he's not there. But it's like now I drive myself home from school and I don't even go to practice. So when I get home, the time that I used to spend with my dad, I'm just now sitting there by myself, and I'm just I'm just like, sitting there by myself basically when he used to be there, and now my house is really empty and I'm kind of alone.
Yeah.
So I guess it's like, and it's one stupid thing, but it's just like coming home from school every day.
Well, I don't think that's stupid at all. That sounds really tough. You're missing your quality time with your dad. Is that correct?
Yes, for sure.
So that's definitely something that can produce those sad feelings daily. I completely understand it. Now, sometimes what I like to do just to help you get a better grasp of things, help me get a better grasp of things, is I use this chart.
Okay.
It's basically just saying what you're telling me now, and we can write it kind of in a simple way. Sometimes it's just better to get things out on paper, I think.
Sure.
Do you want to try it?
Yeah, that sounds good.
Okay, awesome. Okay, so here it says the event. So you said that spending time with your dad, so that time of the day where you guys would usually spend time together, that could be considered an event. Do you want to use that example?
Sure.
Okay, so I'm just going to say coming home to an empty house.
Okay.
Does that sound okay?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, so this is all about you, remember. So I'm just showing you how to do it at first, and then as the session moves on and as the weeks go by, maybe we can work on you doing it and I'll do it with you, stuff like that. But for right now, we can do it together.
Okay.
So coming home each day to an empty house. Now, whenever things happen, events happen, we start feeling feelings, we get these automatic thoughts. Do you know what those are?
No, I don't think, I feel like I should know because it sounds like words I've heard, but I don't actually know what the idea is.
Oh, no worries. Yeah. So automatic thoughts, they're just the first thing that pops into your head. However, irrational or silly, you said you thought that how you're feeling was stupid before, these are just automatic thoughts. They're just kind of uncontrollable what we think right away.
Okay.
So can you give me 2 or 3 automatic thoughts you might have when you come home and you're by yourself at home and your dad isn't there?
I feel like my dad's never going to come back and see me again. Like I'm never going to see him again.
Yeah.
I feel like he's not going to love us or love me anymore just because he doesn't love my mom anymore. Like we're a package deal, I guess.
Yeah.
And I guess feeling unloved, and I guess feeling like I'm never gonna have a dad again.
That must be really hard.
Yeah.
That's that's all these thoughts all at once. That must really hurt, I'm sure, sometimes.
Yeah, it's almost like I feel like he's dead or something. Like he's just never gonna come back to me, and we're never gonna have that relationship anymore. I'm just gonna be one of those people who doesn't have a dad.
I'm so sorry. That must hurt really badly.
Yeah.
And I just wanted to reiterate that when people do get divorced, this is common for their kids, especially their teenage kids. So what you're going through, even though it's so tough, it's not abnormal.
Okay, thanks.
Now, after those automatic thoughts, we usually just react in some emotional way. So sometimes this is crying, getting anxious, getting scared, depending on how you're feeling. Do you have any feelings that happens sometimes? Any emotional responses?
Yeah, I guess that's when I feel the most depressed. I feel I guess grief kind of, because I know that sounds weird. I just feel like I lost him forever. So grief, and then I feel kind of angry, how angry why do I have to be alone? I didn't have anything to do with you guys' relationship, you know? I didn't ask for you to be my dad, and I didn't ask for her to be my mom, and now I don't have either, really, because of your issue. So angry, and then I guess, after everything, I feel just really sad because I'm still by myself and isolated and kind of alone.
Yeah.
So just really sad.
Now, you've done a great job with this. I just want to reiterate to make sure that I have all the information right. So basically, the event we're talking about is coming home each day, where you would usually spend time with your dad, and he isn't there and the house is empty.
Right.
So automatically you think that he's never going to come back, maybe he doesn't love you. It almost feels like your dad is dead, you said. Right. Is that correct? And then emotionally you experience grief, anger, sadness. Now this is kind of the hard part.
Okay.
So this is behaviors. So this basically, I want you to think of, and we don't need to think of it right now, but just maybe something to think about. What behaviors can you do to help the situation in general? And that's a very loaded response, and that may take a little bit of time to think what you need to do for yourself, kind of.
Okay.
But it's just something to think about, and that's why I really like this chart, is that it puts all of your emotions and your feelings on paper.
Right.
And you know exactly how you're feeling, even though it might not feel like you do.
Okay.
Okay, so that's definitely something to think about. Now, before we go, I just want to let you know that I'm really, really proud of you, and I'm so happy that you came here today. It takes a lot to be able to discuss all these feelings openly, and you have a lot of insight within yourself. You know yourself really well, which even if you don't think you do, like, that's really incredible. So you might find these thoughts stupid, but it's really amazing that you're able to say exactly how you're feeling. With that, I'm a little concerned just because I feel like you put yourself down for real life feelings that are just normal to be feeling.
Okay.
And I want you to remember that it's normal. I want you to work on that.
Okay.
And when you are feeling those thoughts, to remember that if this is a normal feeling or not, and that it's okay to have these different feelings.
Okay.
I'm going to give you a little task. I'm not going to call it homework.
Okay.
Just a little task to work on. So we completed this chart together. I'm going to give you a blank copy, and I want you to just, throughout the week, if you find yourself getting suddenly sadder than at other times, I want you to just write down what's going on, what this event is. Did someone say something, or are you in a certain place? I just want you to write it down. I want you to maybe jot down some automatic thoughts you're having at that moment, and then just the emotional responses afterward. And then if you want, you can bring that chart next week, and we can go over it together, and that'd be wonderful. Does that sound okay to you?
Yeah, I can try it.
Okay.
That sounds like something I can try.
Yeah, and just give it your best shot. It's okay if it's not,
Okay.
anything super special. I just, if you feel comfortable doing it, I would love to see it. So.
Okay, thanks.
Okay. Thanks, Joan. I'll see you next week.
See you next week.